So with Red Alert done, we can take a look at how long it's taken me to do a first-time playthrough of Tomb Raider Chronicles, and we've got a grand total of a little over 20 hours. That's getting all the secrets and referring to a guide 3 or 4 times. I can't really remember what it was. I think I kind of got a bit paranoid towards the end and unintentionally looked at a guide to refer to something that I thought was a glitch, but turned out not to be, with the whole switch and the cyborg sort of thing. That sounds like a book by H.G. Wells. Now, I'm actually recording this not the day after, like I said I would, but yeah, I'm recording this a few days afterwards because it has actually taken me quite a long time to do all the editing for this final session. No joke. I wasn't expecting the series to go on for so long. The pacing of the game kind of increased very suddenly towards the end. I mean, it took me just a single part sometimes to finish some of the levels in the earlier parts of the game, but you know, towards the end, the levels seem to have gotten longer and longer, and I wasn't really expecting that. I mean, I was expecting this playthrough to be done in about 18, 19 parts, and look, it's gone over to 22 now. Yeah, the editing on this final part as well, it's just been a bit crazy. I mean, I've had the addition of the end slates that I've had to do, which I'll talk about in a moment, and also your comments for the Q&A, which I'll also talk about in just a moment. I often think I get better at editing. I get better and better at editing. By logic, I should be faster, but no, because I'm thinking about it more and doing more things, it actually somewhat kind of evens out, and I don't really get any faster over time. I kind of just get better at doing it and kind of end up doing things more and more complicated the more I do it, if you get what I mean. So yeah, the end slate. So I just want to say a huge thank you to the 5 artists that I featured. That goes out to Zwusel, Anako, Glenn, and also to Jason and Keith, who the art of I'll be featuring in this final part here, just behind the Q&A, along with Zwusel, who I once again have used another piece of in this final part. Thank you so much for drawing the art pieces, for, you know, allowing me to use them. I think I'll continue doing end slates in future playthroughs, maybe in Resident Evil 4 that's coming up, but definitely in Angel of Darkness. It gives the artists exposure that they deserve. I mean, these guys are incredibly talented. So, yeah, if any artists wish to submit pieces for Angel of Darkness or get them ready for when I do Angel of Darkness in a couple of months' time, or if you want to do it for Resident Evil 4 or something like that, you're more than welcome to. Oh, and one more thing before we get on with the Q&A. I've got a few comments here which refer to prior gameplay, you know, on this last segment here. So first off, a lot of you pointed out how in the level where I was first introduced to the chloroform, that I wasn't really using it correctly, that I was crawling across the floor and not walking behind the guards in order to use the chloroform on them. And of course, I just want to apologize that, you know, I didn't really think to just walk towards the guard as opposed to crawling. I don't know why I became so fixated with crawling everywhere. I just got it in my head. Crawling was the only way to do stealth. You know, walking around, they would hear me for some reason, but crawling, well, definitely the way to go. I kind of learnt in the later level that was what you had to do to use the chloroform, but one of the things that really threw me off was the fact that you could not chloroform one of the guards, and after that I was just so done with the feature that, you know, I didn't want to even try using it in the future. Otherwise, a lot of you have pointed out that in this segment there has been a few bits of missing dialogue with Zip over the radio. Zip giving us a few hints in some scenarios which probably would have made things a little bit easier for me, but yeah, it's I've come across a lot of glitches overall. It's a bit of a shame as well, because I really like to hear the dialogue between Zip and Lara. Actually, like, if I'm being completely honest, Zip has been one of my favorite things about this game. Just really enjoyed the commentary that he gives, and, you know, he just seems like such an interesting, funny, zany character, and a great addition to Tomb Raider, one that kind of makes you feel a little less lonelier as well. Doesn't ruin the atmosphere, but just takes the edge off things, if you catch what I mean. Now here's another from Rue saying that, yeah, apparently there was supposed to either be fire or, according to Don't Wait the Insomniac, lasers on the floor where Lara just combusted, you know, that floor. So yeah, more glitches ahoy, I suppose. One from Dodonis here saying that they just flat out did not have a clue what the heck was up with the whole cutscene stuff in regards to Von Croy and Von Pimpletop. Apparently, it just never is explained. It never goes on to Angel of Darkness to continue this story between them, of course, because, well, this is set before the end of the last revelation anyway, as you can tell by the kind of, you know, the setup of the game overall. I mean, the only thing we can really gather from what's happened is that Lara just really likes artifacts and decided she needed to steal things for herself, you know. One from Mac Forever says that the grappling gun is actually explained in the player manual. I can confirm I did read the player manual before playing this game. Kind of probably forgot about it because at this, you know, this is the end of the game and I read it towards the beginning. I kind of wasn't expecting features to start being introduced on the bloody final level of the game, I suppose, so yeah. Comment here from Stella that I just found hilarious. Now, there was a ledge at one point that I was trying to swing over to, but it turned out that I had to instead grab onto a barely visible crack and shimmy across to it instead, if you recall that. And Stella says that Reboot Lara would be nagging you the whole time. I can grab that mildewy black crevice, as she probably would say. And yeah, totally. There's so much hand-holding in newer games, I suppose, and while I would have preferred it be more obvious in this game that you were supposed to grab hold of that by maybe making like a more visible crack instead of what looks like a graphical glitch, I can appreciate the, you know, the fact it doesn't just give it away like the newer games do. And finally, before we start on the Q&A, one from Will Davis here. And I think a few other of you said something down the lines of this, but yeah, the lasers that I kept putting the night vision goggles on to see, apparently you can shoot a valve, that'll create steam, and you can see the lasers after that's happened. So yeah, I did it the hard way. And I apologize for that. Right, so the Q&A, let's get on with the Q&A. So first things first, I just want to address some of the questions that I've had about Angel of Darkness. I will be playing Angel of Darkness next, of course. As I've said, don't forget, 2 months from now, sometime around about then, I've got to see what's going on first, you know, with other playthroughs, but at the very most, it'll probably be a little after 2 months, so I'll try my best to have it with you as soon as possible, of course. I got a comment here from Bloggle Snarf, which says, when you play Angel of Darkness, will we be using any fan patches to fix the game? And I can confirm I won't, because I'll be playing the PS2 version. Now, a few of you might be like, well, why would you do that? We want decent quality, we want graphics, we want, you know, fan patches. Yeah, you might be a bit confused by it. Now, the reason for that is, number one, I've always played the game on the platform that Core Design developed it for, aside from Tomb Raider 1, which was originally made for the Sega Saturn. I played it on PlayStation 1 instead. And I played Tomb Raider 2 on PlayStation 1, Tomb Raider 3, because they were developed for the PlayStation 1. I know they were on other platforms, but they were developed for the PlayStation 1. And now, the last Revelation and Chronicles, they were made for PC and then ported to the PlayStation 1. Now, Angel of Darkness actually was developed for the PS2. So I thought I'd play the PlayStation 2, but I decided to look at a little bit of comparison without trying to ruin the game for myself, you know. And this video I found here kind of jumped out at me the most.
Don't keep me hanging around. I need to reach the roof before I lose my grip. Don't keep me hanging around. I need to reach the roof before I lose my grip.
Now, this was uploaded by Ellen Rich, and I just want to thank them for providing the comparison. PS2 version just seems to have much better immersion overall. You know, it looks genuine, it looks like it's there, but also Lara's voice, like, she sounds so much more enthusiastic in the PS2 version. She sounds like a bloody robot in the PC version. Now, I'm sure you could get mods to kind of patch that over and stuff like that, but I thought I'd just go right ahead and play the PlayStation 2 version. A few of you said that I might come across some game-breaking glitches and might have some issues and stuff like that, but if worse comes to worse, I can always play it on PC anyway. Now, I have a question for you guys. Have you ever played the PlayStation 2 version and had any slowdown or any jittering or anything like that? If you have, can you please tell me, do you live in the United States or do you live in the sort of PEL region? You know, UK, Europe. This is very important because I want to know which version of the game is best for me to play out of the PAL and NTSC version, because I could easily get a hold of either of them. So as for the quality side of Angel of Darkness, I know playing on the PS2 is going to result in much worse quality, but recently I made a setup to capture the PlayStation 2 at higher quality than I ever have before. So you're going to be getting decent quality. Of course, I'll upscale it to 1080p. It won't be widescreen more than likely unless the game has widescreen in it in the first place. We'll just have to see, but yeah, the quality should be fairly decent regardless, so don't worry about that too much. I'm good with video editing. I like to think I'm good with video editing. On to the next bundle of questions. This is about the expansions, the Tomb Raider expansions, and I've answered these many times before. That's Tomb Raider 1, 2, 3, Gold, whatever they're called, I can't remember. But yeah, I plan to do them sometime in the future, but I thought I'd save them so I have something classic to return to, sometime down the line. And I look forward to that, because it'll be great. It'll be like a nice little dip back into nostalgia. Now, Don't Wait, the Insomniac made a point here that there's also an extra level in Chronicles that is specific to the level editor. So yeah, it contains a sample level which you can play through. Although it's very basic, it's better than the Times level. That's interesting. Now, yeah, I didn't know about that. Otherwise, I probably would have done it, sometime in the future and done this Q&A with it, because that probably would have been a lot better off. But yeah, I will make a note of that and do it alongside with the Tomb Raider 1, 2, 3 expansions. Magic Conch shall. Will I ever play Tomb Raider level editor?
Maybe someday.
Next up, I've got a bunch of questions about what my favourite Tomb Raider game's been so far, what my favourite levels have been, and just what my favourite levels have been in Tomb Raider Chronicles itself. So of all the Tomb Raider games I played from best to worst, I'd say the top spot has to be taken by Tomb Raider 3 still. I just love that game, there's no competition for me. But coming in at a kind of reasonable second would have to be Tomb Raider The Last Revelation, because I feel it has a lot of strong segments to it and, a lot to enjoy. At third, Tomb Raider Legend. I love that game, I really do, and still I'm really sad it's so short. Then next up, the very first Tomb Raider. Fifth would be Tomb Raider 2. Sixth would be Tomb Raider 2013. Overall, I did enjoy that game a fair bit, but kind of felt it was lacking in some senses. I will be playing Rise of the Tomb Raider. We'll be streaming it later this year. I'm looking forward to that. I hope it's better than Tomb Raider 2013. Hope it kind of capitalizes on some of its strong points. And yes, in last position, Tomb Raider Chronicles, unfortunately. Island, for me, has been the only standout segment of this game. The only segment that I've kind of enjoyed thoroughly. And it feels like it almost doesn't belong in this game. It feels so cut out and so disjointed from the rest of it. And it feels like it more should have been in Tomb Raider The Last Revelation. Maybe after Lara did the tutorial, maybe the very beginning of the game, I don't know. One thing I can compliment Tomb Raider Chronicles on is the narrative. The narrative and the story are so much better than any of the other Tomb Raiders. Now, just because I put it at the very bottom of my list, that doesn't mean I don't like it for the record. I actually do like Tomb Raider Chronicles, it's just not as good as the others in my opinion. Same applies to Tomb Raider 2, of course. I enjoy Tomb Raider 2, but just not as much as the others. Next up, I'm going to list my favourite and my least favourite segments from the Tomb Raider games I've already played. So first off, I have to say Island from this game has actually been one of my favourites yet. It's just dripping in atmosphere, it's so good, so bizarre as well, and, just, very creepy. And it left me thinking about it for a few days afterwards. That's the kind of experience I want to have with these kind of games. I want to be left curious about different things. I want to be enticed into looking what the historical backing of the levels are and stuff like that as well, Of course, in there's going to be London from Tomb Raider 3. You know my relationship with London, I just loved it. Aside from Lutz Gate. It's probably one of my least favourite levels in the best segment for me, Alexandria from Tomb Raider 4. Greece from Tomb Raider 1, and probably the Maria Doria from Tomb Raider 2. Though I'm not too fond of Tomb Raider 2, I loved the Maria Doria. Now, my least favourite segments are probably first one that comes to mind is Atlantis from Tomb Raider 1. The combination of like the platforming, the potential of glitches in Natla's mine, and just the general amount of grey they used in it. It's very stone based, just stone everywhere, stone. Nothing but stone and lava, a lot of lava as well. Didn't really like it too much. The good points about it, of course, is the enemy design and just how overall creepy it is, and of course Natla herself. And Tony Hawk's. Yeah. I'd have to say, despite the fact I love Tomb Raider 3, Nevada has to be in there. I just think Nevada wasn't very well done overall. It could have been done a lot better. Everything that wasn't the Maria Doria in Tomb Raider 2 I could put in there. I don't know, there's something about the level design in Tomb Raider 2 that I just do not like at all. I can't really put in perspective what that is. It just doesn't sit very well with me, whereas Tomb Raider 3 seems much more defined and solid and wholesome, if you get what I mean. The final segment of Tomb Raider 4, The Last Revelation, that would have to go in there. Didn't really like that so much. And then finally, I would say the very first segment of this game, of Tomb Raider Chronicles, was very, very drab and uninnovative. Especially the Colosseum, like, wow, the Colosseum has to be the biggest letdown of this game. Absolutely. A couple of you asked what game I would go back and play if I could play any, and of course that would be Tomb Raider 3. I just love Tomb Raider 3. Golden Cosmos asked how I feel now that I've completed the 5 classics. I have, haven't I? Yeah, because Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness moves on to a new engine. I suppose we've moved away from the classic engine now, aside from, of course, doing the expansions. I don't know, I'm gonna miss it. I'm really gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss the stubborn controls, the kind of tankiness of it, you know. Though I'm sure I'll be greeted with a lot of that in Angel of Darkness, because I really doubt they will have improved it that much. Yeah, I started this over almost 6 years ago now. Good grief. I've been doing this for a while, haven't I? I feel old now. I feel like I've aged a lot all of a sudden. Yeah, finally, one from Chris is here asking what my favorite new gameplay addition was. Definitely the underwater sort of, I don't even know what to call it, the thing that Lara was like swimming around underwater with on that one level that lasted like 10 minutes. I hope so much that someone out there utilized that in their Tomb Raider level editor level and made a decent level using that feature, because like it was so wasted, so wasted on such a short level. They got it perfect. They made swimming around underwater actually enjoyable. So why did they use it so little? I don't understand. I really don't understand. Of course they must have been rushed. Like, this entire game feels a little bit rushed, like some levels more than others, and that is definitely one that did feel rushed. Right, so on to more individual questions. First one coming from CJ Blackform. Considering how short this game was, do you think this game was necessary? I know this might be a difficult question to ask, since you have not yet played Angel of Darkness, but I figured I'd try asking anyway. I don't know how, like, Angel of Darkness feels, of course, as you express, CJ, so it is a little bit hard for me to answer it. If it was back in the day and I played this, I would have been a little bit angry. I would have wanted a more follow game, or for Chronicles to be part of The Last Revelation, to make it feel a little more fuller, if you get what I mean. Not an individual game on its own, it just wouldn't have felt right, it really wouldn't. Now, I got 20 hours of gameplay out of this game, you have to bear in mind, out of Tomb Raider Chronicles, and that, by today's standard, is a full game. By those days' standards, well, by Tomb Raider standards, by classic Tomb Raider standards, that is a short game. Next question by Justin O's channel. Which voice actress for Lara do you prefer? I still prefer Keely Hawes to any other Lara voice actor, just in Legend, how she was able to kind of make Lara seem emotional, seem interested in what she was doing. It's like she loved the role and made it her own, if you get what I mean. It was so entertaining for me, so entertaining, but I'd have to say that my second favourite voice actor for Lara now is definitely Jonelle Elliott, the one who has done the voice for Lara in Tomb Raider, The Last Revelation and Chronicles just now, and I look forward to hearing more of her in Angel of Darkness, because from that little clip that I showed you before, it sounds like she stepped up her game a bit, apart from for the PC version where she sounds like a robot. But yeah, I imagine if I had to re-record lines, I would be a little bit unenthusiastic, though I don't know if the PC ones were done first. I kind of just assumed that the PS2 ones were done first, since, as I expressed, the game was made for PS2. Siren S asks, who's my favourite character aside from Lara throughout the games and favourite villain? Now, I believe I've already expressed who my favourite character is. It's definitely Zip. I like him a lot, and I liked him in Tomb Raider Legend as well. Zip and Alistair as well were just so entertaining to me. I found them really funny. My favourite villain is probably... oh god, what the fuck is her name? The one that the previous voice for Lara behind Joan L. Elliott's voiced, as well as Sophia Lee, that's it. Yeah, where she voiced both Lara and Sophia Lee. Yeah, I thought she should have been better utilized, more used in Tomb Raider 3, maybe the main villain instead of yeah. Next, Pretty Dawn Gay asks, did you like how Tomb Raider Chronicles was a return to more areas and shorter levels, or do you prefer Last Revelation, which had bigger, more open areas and was set exclusively in Egypt? I prefer The Last Revelation's bigger, more open areas, admittedly. Though that's not to say that I don't like the areas with shorter levels. I just feel like Tomb Raider Chronicles did a worse job of it than any other Tomb Raider game prior to it has done. Tomb Raider 3 kind of provided both of these things as well. You know, it provided more areas but bigger. It's a little bit of a disappointing come down, isn't it? Next up from Shibuya, are you pleased with the direction the Tomb Raider games seem to be No, not at all. Or do you miss the feel of the older Tomb Raider game? Yes, absolutely. Do miss the older feel. What I mean by that is the fact the newer games focus more on action and less on puzzles. No, I do prefer the puzzles. I do miss them. But I like the few puzzles that we've had in Tomb Raider Chronicles. They have been very entertaining, admittedly. Shibuya actually mentions they would prefer the newer games would go back in this direction, and I really wish they would as well. It's just, having played most of the classic Tomb Raider games now, I feel like there is this void that never will be filled ever again, if you catch what I mean, in modern gaming, I suppose. Though, I don't know, gaming does tend to go full circles, in that developers will make games for a more classic audience, then a more modern audience, then a more classic audience, then a more modern audience. I mean, look back about 5 years ago. The game scene was obsessed with things like Call of Duty, and now we've got like classic throwback games all over the bloody place. They're everywhere, and it's fantastic. I love it. Crash Insane Trilogy came out so much better than I expected it to. Still not getting it though. Classic re-releases. Ukulele. You know, it's just been a great year for kind of an aging generation of gamers like myself. Next question from Costas, I don't know. Yeah. Do you think Lara will ever deny/feel bad that she is a murderer of NPCs? No, I think she secretly gets off to it in her spare time. That just, you know. Dr. Monolite, quick! You're the lead of core design in 1990. Oh god, okay, right. You've just realized 4 areas in Chronicles isn't enough for a full price release. Oh my god! You have 20 seconds to make up 2 additional level sets. Where are they set? What's the story? Oh god, right. Well, I don't have much experience with travelling, so we're gonna have to set them in places that I've been before. Number 1, Manchester, the Arndale Centre. I've got lost in there many times. And number 2, Canada. Yeah, let's go with Canada. The CN Tower. Something hidden underneath the CN Tower. A relic. A stolen relic. Oh yeah, there we go. Brilliant. That is powering the CN Tower. Oh, I'm good at this. Right, I should have been core design back in the day, clearly. Next, Hiroshima. Are you gonna make Tomb Raider levels for Tomb Raider Level Editor after you finish all the Tomb Raider? No, I really am not. I just don't have time for that kind of thing. Like, maybe in another life or something. I used to be a creator, but I kind of pulled away from that. I prefer using things instead of creating things, if you get what I mean by that. And number 2, if Lara Croft wasn't a Tomb Raider, is she really though? What do you think she'd be? The thing she already is, a mass-murdering psychopath, I guess. Next up, Crazy Gamer, I have a question. If you could use any well-known song to describe the 4 sections, what would they be? Oh, for each one? Oh dear. What's defined as a well-known song? I'm not very with the charts with the kids. I like things like Metallica and Placebo, Destiny's Child. Don't think you're ready for this, Jelly. Well-known song to describe each area. Rome? Lara killed Pierre, that's the most standout thing for me. Is there anything that's sad and French? Sad and French. Daft Punk. Sad Daft Punk song. Oh my god, this is a thing. This is a search. Okay. Something About Us. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Right. What was the next segment? Oh, the Russian submarine. I'm gonna be racist. I'm gonna be racist and say that that song Moscow by Thingy Khan. I can't even bloody remember. It's a German group from the 70s. Yeah, let's go with that. What was the next one? Oh, fucking hell, my brain. Island, of course. Irish songs. Oh, I know some good Irish songs. Due to the fact that the father kept getting winded, right? We could have the cause breathless. Oh, yeah, because he's been left breathless. Brilliant. I'm such a genius. And finally, the last segment, I still don't have a clue what that's called. Like, people have told me, but I keep forgetting. For the last segment, I'm just gonna go with the song that I already quoted, which is Red Alert by the Basement Jacks. Yeah. Now, this is probably my favorite question or questions, and this comes from Anthony. And also, he says, "Happy birthday, Alonso. Thank you very much. My birthday was on the 14th, so yeah." Some questions for your Q&A. Number 1, what kind of monster saves while hanging from ledges, ropes, etc.? And I believe that monster is referred to as Alonzo Orion. And number 2, fuck, marry, kill. I'm guessing this is a play on Snog, Marry, Avoid. I used to love that show. It was some weird guilty pleasure of mine, admittedly. The glass window. Is glass window? Okay, the glass window, Venice. I get you. In Tomb Raider 2, got you. Kill. Absolutely kill. Definitely kill. Like, fucking hell, murder it, please. The kayak. Malibu Gorge, Tomb Raider 3. So that thing I tried to use whilst... Was I drunk or was that after I was drunk? I don't really remember. I think it was after I was drunk, actually. Kill that as well. Like, hated. The Hook. Coastal Ruins, Alexandria, Tomb Raider 4. Oh, what? I don't remember that. The Hook? Are you just making me say Hook? Because I say Hook funny. Oh, you're doing that, aren't you? You're doing that? No, you're not. I'm just kidding. I don't remember Hook. I really don't remember it. The Coastal Ruins is all but gone from my head, if I'm being honest. I don't know why. I remember the bit with the skeletons and the... Fucking hell, though. Like, I'm gonna look this up. Oh, the Hook! Oh, the thing that Lara combines with the... Right, to grab the keys. Oh, God. Well, yeah, kill that too. Like, wow, you really haven't given me much... Do I have to... Wait, why would I want to fuck any of these? Oh, especially Hook. Ugh. I don't want any extra piercings anytime soon, thank you very much. Oh, and another question. I once read a review of Tomb Raider... This is what Anthony was saying for the record, not what I'm saying. I once read a review of Tomb Raider 3 that said it brings back secrets that are actually useful, but I prefer the Tomb Raider 2, 5, and Legend mode of secrets that are special items. What say Alonso? I don't know, I feel more rewarded by ones that are useful, so I do prefer the Tomb Raider 3 ones. I mean, I just feel like the dragons, collecting them in Tomb Raider 2 almost feels empty until you found all of them, then it's amazing. It's kind of a bit of a letdown when you don't, which is most of the time. unless of course you know the game. And then Tomb Raider Legend, oh fucking hell, like, no, that's the worst thing about it, the secrets. They're just everywhere, such a pain in the ass, so hard to find as well. I never did that, did I? I didn't find them all, no I didn't. And Chronicles, like with the gold roses, they look pretty tasty, they look crunchy, probably break my teeth on them, but yeah, otherwise, not very satisfying. I prefer to be like, oh, Luke, a rocket, I found a rocket, you know, fire a rocket, I can use a rocket, but it would have been better if in Tomb Raider 3, ammo and health was a little bit harder to find, you know, and it was kind of more necessary to find the secrets, if you catch what I mean. Okay, so that's it for the Q&A. Thank you all for submitting questions once again, and I'm sorry if I was a bit vague with some of your questions, you know, the ones I included as part of a group, but by God, I've been talking for a long time. This has gone on for much longer than I would have expected. I probably will edit this down significantly, yeah, probably for the best. Now I have one more comment before we finish off, and this was just the sweetest I've received over this playthrough. It's from Squall Leonhardt. I'm honoured that my favourite Final Fantasy character is actually watching my playthrough along with a lot of other video game characters. He says, "You really have a special charisma, and when playing I never get bored or want to stop watching, and I only turned on the YouTube notifications just to see when you're uploading. Keep going." And yeah, thank you so much. It's comments like this that keep me going. It means so much to me. Sometimes I'll be editing away and I'll think, well, people find this boring and stuff like that, but I get comments like this that reassure me that that's not the case, that I'm probably overthinking, and that you guys do definitely enjoy what I do. And just one more thing before I finish up, I really hope you've enjoyed the approach I've taken to this, where I've left in more content, not done as much editing as I did in previous stuff, because I took a lot of your criticism on board at the beginning of this playthrough. A few of you were saying that I was going a bit too kind of crazy on the editing and stuff like that, so I decided to kind of tone it down a bit. It's worked out for the better, it really has. It's been easier to edit overall. Obviously I've had to do a lot of snappy editing in these last few parts, but it was a bit more of an exception away from everything else that I've done in this series. I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I said, if you've got any criticism or anything like that, I always take it on board. If any of you missed asking questions, by the way, you feel free to ask them in the comments of this video, I'll still answer them. I like to keep on top of comments, as you know. So yeah, that's it. That's Tomb Raider Chronicles all done. Thank you so much for watching, and I cannot wait to get on with Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness. I've been waiting for years to do this game, been more excited about doing this more than any other game, but I felt it was necessary to play a lot of them beforehand, you know. Hopefully, I'll see you for that. But otherwise, I've got some other series going on in the meantime if you want to check them out. Like I said, I'm doing Resident Evil 4 soon, probably in a week from now. I'll be continuing with Kingdom Hearts. I've got a little bit of Life is Strange coming up, a final piece of it before we get on with Life is Strange Before the Storm, which I will be streaming when the game comes out, of course. Otherwise, yep, I've got streams ongoing. I've got plenty of things to be getting on with streaming wise. Resident Evil remake, HD remake, remastered, remastered. Spyro the Dragon. I'll be playing Spyro 2 probably once I finish that. I've got a few other miscellaneous streams coming up. You can just check out the schedule that I have up, like at the beginning of each month. See what you're interested in. Yeah. Alright, so it's goodbye from me, and don't forget to take care of yourself. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Holy shit. I've recorded over an hour? What the fuck? Oh, okay.